mass, volumes, and density and their relationships. So to find the density, you have to find the mass. First, the mass is the amount of matter in an object, so the more something weighs, the more atoms it has. Once you've found the mass by scale, bathroom scales also work if you have to change the scale to kilograms, and then what the scale says, you multiply that by 1,000 to get the grams. Your scale has good sensitivity. The mass of this cube is 24 grams. And once you have found the mass, you must find the volume. The volume is how much an object takes up. So with this cube, all sides are the same. I measured with a ruler that this cube is 3 centimeters tall, it is 3 centimeters long, and 3 centimeters wide. With these numbers, you multiply them together. Length times width times height equals 27, because that would be 3 times 3 times 3. Now that you have the mass and the volume, you divide them by each other. That would be 24 divided by 27. That equals 0.8 grams per centimeters cubed. Density is the measurement of particles in one object. The relations between mass and volume is to create density is when your mass is higher and your volume is lower, the density is higher. And if your mass is smaller and your volume is bigger, then your density is lower. Here are some real-life examples of density. Why is your basement so cold? It's because of density. Cold air is more dense than hot air, because in cold air, molecules move slower, thus resulting in a smaller volume and a bigger density. And heat has a lower density than cold air, because in hot air, the molecules move faster and making the volume bigger and making it more dense. Oil is more dense than water. The grams per milliliters is 0.93, while water is 1 gram per milliliter. So the oil would float. So we have 2 metal spheres. We found that the bigger steel sphere will float, it has less mass, and the small steel sphere will sink, it has more mass. Why do you think this is? Is it because of density or something else? Which do you think is more dense, the little sphere or the big sphere? Choose the thing on screen and we'll see you back in a little bit when we tell you the answer. If you chose the little sphere, you were correct. The little sphere is more dense because it's smaller and heavier, which makes it extremely dense, while the bigger one is lighter but not heavier. Ice and water are very unique because ice expands when you freeze it and making the density less, so making it float. With water, the density is 1, making it very useful for testing. While water is so the oil would float. And the small why do you think that is? It's bigger, but it's heavier, not heavier. So making it float.